Well, here we are yet again.
According to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty, oh.
Toss a coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty.
So yeah, I was totally right about that being stuck in my head.
Yeah, you were. Oh my gosh. And gonna be honest, man. I mean,
This is a week later. And
oh, 2 weeks later actually, because it was episode 2.
Oh, it's
when
been
it
2
happened.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's been a while, and I'm still singing that in my head occasionally.
Oh yeah. Which so we're here on episode 4 of The Witcher. This is at the end of this, it'll be officially the halfway point of the season.
I started playing The Witcher 1, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. He started playing the first Witcher game.
I found out that scene from the last episode was the same scene from the beginning of The Witcher.
But
and it is, you know, it happened during the time period of the books, obviously, not right before the first Witcher. So
yeah, that's not the reason why Geralt is being brought in.
So everything there's something else. So everything seems accurate so far.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because without seeing the context of that scene, I'd seen it before where I started to play The Witcher before, but I didn't fully understand the fact that if she was left out until daylight she might be cured, and the whole him climbing in the coffin was to keep her from getting back in it, you know. And now that I have the context to it, that scene's even cooler in the game,
yeah,
because it all makes sense now, and it's surprisingly really similar. The only main difference is the fact that he doesn't just leave him chained to the bed to be eaten. The game, he cuts him loose and lets him try to run for it and uses him as bait to lure her out.
Although
she ends up catching him before he gets out of the place.
I do kind of prefer him leaving him chained to the bed in the midst of where he committed a terrible act.
Yeah,
I think that's sort of more poetic justice.
Yeah.
So we're going to be watching episode 4, and
also found out that
go ahead.
Yeah, Jaskier is the name they went with for Bardman.
That's Dandelion in the game.
Yeah, and it's apparently Buttercup in the books.
Oh, Buttercup.
The original translation was for too.
Jaskier.
The original word was Buttercup, and then they translated it in English to Dandelion, and then they changed it to Jaskier for some reason in this.
I think Jaskier is actually. Let me see if that's actually a correct pronunciation. Jaskier is Polish for dandelion.
Oh, okay. So that's why then.
Okay. That's actually
So they just went with the original word, essentially.
Yeah.
That translated to dandelion. Either that or they went backwards and translated it. Yeah, so.
Well, I think if you called him dandelion, it's like dandelion, come here. That'd be almost like a term of endearment to be seen in some way. But instead he calls him Jaskier. It could be seen as a name, or just an insult in some way.
Same thing with Buttercup, It's
come here, Buttercup. Why are you calling him Buttercup? It's context, and crossing cultural boundaries without context equals a messy translation. Which thankfully they've done a good job with this so far. We got it queued up here. Let's get it up on screen. This is episode 4 of Banquets, Bastards, and Burials.
I think I also heard this got confirmed to have another season at least.
Oh yeah, I think it got confirmed for 2 more seasons. Well, given the success that this has had on Netflix, I mean, damn. Did she fall into the Hellblade game right now? I mean, that's what I'm seeing right now.
That would have to be Vikings.
Okay.
Hellblade is Norse.
Yeah, it is. It's just. They're the way they're dressed is very similar to it in some ways.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are elves.
No, I know. I'm just
can't tell if the ears are pointy or not.
Yeah, the hair's kind of. It looks like it.
Yeah, I think they're meant to be slightly pointy.
Yeah, if anything, they're half elf or something.
And then what happened?
Damn it, Jasker.
He died. He's fine.
Look, I was there. I saw it with my own.
See?
Told you.
Toss a coin to your witcher.
Shit.
Oh, valley of plenty. Whoa. What I'm asking for is a teeny weeny little fella.
Fuck off, Bart.
Service.
How many of these lords want to kill you?
Hard to say. One stops keeping count after a while.
I will not suffer tonight sober just because you hid your sausage in the wrong royal pantry. Why the petty squabbles of men?
Anyway, you're not going tonight as a witcher.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm worried. I'm afraid Geralt's gonna kill. Oh my god, no.
I haven't seen you since the play. Good times, Malsack.
Oh! This is before the fall of the kingdom. That's the mage that was trying to hold people back from Ciri's the castle where Ciri was.
Was it? Okay.
This is set before.
Okay, so that timeline's not the same either. So all the timelines are disjointed here.
Holy shit! It is going Tarantino.
It's true. He has the face of a cat and a coward.
What?
But truth be known, he was kicked in the balls by an ox as a child.
Well, that's true.
Apologies. Here, drown your sorrows on me, eunuch.
Hey, honestly,
First of all, you hog all the fanfare, then you go and ruin my courtly reputation.
I saved your life.
yeah,
You're on your own from here on.
yeah. Just tell him that. Tell him that you're a eunuch. Honestly, if you have that bad of a reputation amongst the lords and ladies, you know, these lords who could have you strung up at the just a snap of their fingers, I would be pretty much. I'm sorry, sir, but that's not actually a possibility because I'm a eunuch. I'm here as a party favor for my friend Geralt. That's pretty much all I'd say.
Ouch.
At least have a hot poker ready to cauterize the wound, or that, or peroxide.
Magic peroxide.
Which is all I can hope for you, good lords. At your final breath, a shitless death.
I'm not gonna shit myself.
Nobody has a shitless death. Everybody shits themselves in the death.
I'm protecting the bard from vengeful royal cuckolds.
Oh god.
My potent seed inside Pavetta will produce the strongest of male heirs.
Oy vey.
Gross.
Bruh. You should have said just courtship. So much more like bullshit back in the day, you know?
That's not good.
Well, there go the horses. Oh. Oh shit.
Ooh. A frightener?
Run. Run. Run.
I don't know if that's a frightener or something different since it's small, but frightener's, I've only seen the one and it was huge.
It appears you've run out of chances to provide your king a male heir. No, you wouldn't.
Yes, he would.
Oh, that's great.
Shit. Oh, there goes the soldier. Oh! Oh! Gave him a new hole to see out of. Oh.
Get out here, useless witch.
Excuse you.
You're supposed to protect me.
Could just let you die.
Alright, I just stopped bothering at that point.
Well, you're the one who called her useless when she'd saved your life once, twice, thrice. Could have been a fourth, but you had to be a bitch.
Yep.
So you got no one to blame but yourself on that. This law of surprise shit's serious.
Apparently. Don't know what the hell that's about.
Oh no! Don't.
Her instead.
That's fucked up.
She couldn't let the child die. Oh, the baby not make it? Oh, no.
I think the dagger might have gone straight through.
She's gonna kill him. Oh!
Come. Shankayan calls to you.
Guess there's a weird third option.
Maybe.
Sleep well.
If you're gonna dig a grave, at least dig it deeper. 'Cause that's a beach.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's poetic in some way, but
That tide's gonna wash that baby right out to sea, though.
yeah. Maybe that's the point. I don't know.
Maybe. It's funny, she reminds me a whole lot of my manager back at my first job.
Which one? The queen?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. He's turning human.
Curse broken.
Maybe so. Hey! Seems to be a happy ending there.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
I think this has the makings of my greatest nostalgia.
If you're alive in the morning,
Don't.
destiny can go.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh shit.
Fuck.
They're all, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Dude! Come on! Wait. The calamity that fell upon Sintra was because Geralt did not claim. Oh god.
I don't think so, actually. I think it's a lot worse than that.
Hey.
Gross!
What the? What?
Alright.
Okay. Oh, there's Mouse. I was wondering if he was still alive. Thank goodness.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
That's cool.
That's trippy.
Whoa.
Shit.
Man, this show is bitching, dude.
You ain't kidding. Holy shit. Oh my god. Dude. Just, wow.
Just like, I didn't say a lot during that episode just because I was kind of just like glued to the screen. Like, what's going to happen next? What
Exactly.
the
That's
fuck,
where
man?
I'm at. I'm just like, what's going to happen? What's going on, man? What the hell?
What is happening? Oh, shit. Oh, what's happening
Who am
now?
I?
Yeah, that was very cool.
When is this
I
happening?
think my eyes are actually
What-
watering from not blinking enough.
When is this happening? What is this happening? I'll do you one better. Why is this happening?
It's just a really cool fantasy world, man. There's
You
like a
ain't
lot
kidding.
of cool stuff going on. Just interesting concepts and just a lot of mystery and
Uh,
fantasy, you know.
Well, I knew that there was a lot of depth to The Witcher because fandom that it has, and also the level of depth that people have talked about how they've gone into with the games.
Yeah.
What all is there and everything.
Well, I mean, I remember back when the first Witcher came out on PC, and like I didn't have a PC that could play games at the time, and I remember they were talking about how you need a really good PC to be able to run this. And I was like, all right, I'll never get to play that then, you know.
Well, and here you are now.
Like, I remember people that got to play it were just talking about like how fucking awesome it was, and then obviously, you know, when the third one came out, it was like, this is one of the best games ever made, probably.
Yeah, and the thing is, CD Projekt Red. This is a little off kilter with the TV series, but the way the games have gone, they have drastically improved on themselves. You see, the first Witcher game had good reviews across the board, pretty good reviews. Around like an 80 or an 81. The second one, Assassin of Kings, I believe it's called, got like an 88, 87, 88. And now Witcher 3 has like a 94 or 95. So consistently getting better. Learning from your mistakes and getting better. This show right here, I would say the problem with the first 2 episodes was that, to me, there was too much being said and not shown. Whereas in this, there's a lot being said, but there's also a lot being shown. It shows how important the law of surprise is. It shows how important destiny is, and it shows just how much of an impact Geralt has had on this kingdom. And also it shows us the timelines of the 3 different timelines.
I noticed that they came in with like I invoked the law of surprise, and it's like, what is that, you know? And instead of just like straight up explaining to you like 100% what it is, like they start giving you context clues as to what it is.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, that's better writing than just like we were talking about with Jacob the other day, just like exposition dumping and stuff, you know, like
yeah, it can get exhausting.
Better to show anything that you can rather than exposition dump it.
Well, yeah, and plus I would showing is a lot better in terms of visual storytelling. Showing is a lot better than telling. I mean, if this were a book, yeah, you would literally have to come out and say it.
Yeah.
But where this is visual storytelling, for instance, one of my favorite examples of what not to do in terms of exposition dumping is from the movie The Next Karate Kid, the 4th Karate Kid movie, where Hilary Swank's character is literally talking to Mr. Miyagi, or no, talking to her mother, and or no, actually it's her aunt. Sorry, the aunt goes, "Julie, get back here and talk to me. Get back here right now." And it's just like, "You're not my mom. They died in a car crash, remember?" I'm like, it'd be a lot more effective if you'd just like shown her going to a graveyard, and right there is a tombstone. Like she sits down in front of it, and she's just acts like she doesn't know what to do. And show the tombstone with both of their names on it and everything, and you see, oh, they both died around the same day. Must have been a terrible accident or something like that. Boom. That's a lot more visually and narratively pleasing in a visual art form versus just blurting it out.
Yeah.
Which
it's just awkward when you
get
stuff blurted out that just doesn't feel natural.
Yeah, which the second one, because people don't do that in real life.
I mean, even in the first 2 episodes of these, it wasn't so bad that I noticed it.
No.
It wasn't like awkward. It was just like they were still setting stuff up, obviously.
Yeah, it was.
And they still didn't do as much as they could have, because it was still... I noticed that if I hadn't played the games a little bit, there would have been some things that I was just like, what the hell was that? You know,
yeah.
That. Especially like the magic. They still haven't explained the signs at all.
No.
Like, they haven't told anybody who's not read any of the books or played the games at all, like, and is up to episode 4 at least, still has no clue that the signs are different than magic.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to save that for whenever Ciri starts to learn to control her abilities. Because
I would say at some point he's going to explain it to someone, but yeah, I just noticed that they've still held that back, and he's used them a few times now, and they just haven't ever came out and told you what they are, because I mean, it's not like the same kind of magic that Yennefer is using or the other.
No, Yen is channeling chaos.
The signs are like little kind of like mini spells, basically.
Yeah, what Geralt is using is the signs. He's using.
They each have a name, and like they each have a specific thing that they do.
Yeah,
and,
for instance,
there's like I think like
the
six
push
or
one.
6 or 7 of them. Yeah, Ard.
Yeah.
Ard pushes stuff back. They're really a lot like Jedi powers. Like it's like force push. Like there's a shield that just makes like a personal shield, like a personal barrier around you.
Yeah, protects you from arrow
Axie,
fire,
which is kind of like a Jedi mind trick. There's Igni, which lights shit on fire.
Whereas what Yennefer is doing, she is channeling chaos with the old.
There's a trap spell that like makes a ring that anyone in the ring can't move as well or anything.
Yeah, when Yennefer controls stuff, she's controlling chaos by chanting an Eldar, which is the Elven language, and is channeling making sense and control out of chaos, which is very difficult to do. And
because like I think it would be kind of confusing. Like some people might just assume like, oh, Witchers have like magic; they can do magic too. They're kind of like mages, but like not no, they can't. Like Geralt can't do the kind of shit that Yennefer is doing. Like ever.
No, that's a different style. There's a lot more.
And I think the signs may possibly also be linked to a mutagen. I'm not sure though, but like one of the mutations that they had to go through actually gave them the ability to even use those.
They drink all sorts of alchemic fluids to change up their makeup, and it mutates them. It does. That's why Geralt looks the way that he does.
So they're actually they haven't explained like hardly any of that either too. But like he finally mentioned, why aren't there more of you? Well, we lost the ability to make more of us during the sacking of Kaer Morhen.
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot of more things that they've mentioned that like they haven't really gone into detail on. Like Kaer Morhen is their castle.
Yeah.
Like, one of several Witcher holds. There used to be multiples, and now it's down to like at the time of like the first game, it's down to like where Kaer Morhen's like the last one left, basically.
Yeah.
But like the mutagens are essentially like monster cells, so they're basically actually making themselves part monster when they become a Witcher.
Yeah, they maintain their humanity, but they have to survive a hell of a trial, and that trial is
the trial of the grasses, is what they call it.
Yeah, and honestly, that's to me. I love the storytelling in this. Yeah. I love it.
It's very cool.
Yes, it is.
It's very dark. I'm not at all like agreeing with the dudes that were like, oh, it's too obnoxiously violent. I'm like, I think it is just the right amount of violent. Like it sets the tone for how brutal this world is.
Yeah, for people out there who say it's too violent, I'm like, have y'all not played the games?
Right.
The games are vicious. The games actually, in some ways, go above and beyond the violence of this show.
Well, I didn't even realize in the first game until I started playing it again, and I was like, "Oh, I just lopped that dude's head off. It's laying right there."
Yeah, yeah. It's vicious. It's a very vicious game, and this is a very vicious series because guess what? The world in which these characters occupy is cruel and unrelentingly violent because there's monsters, there's lords, there's assassins, there's witches, there's witchers, there's all these things in this world that can kill you.
This was too violent are probably the same fuckers that think The Walking Dead's still a good show.
Oh God! Micah told me him and Caleb actually don't watch. I think he said that they still watch it, but they watch it just to see how far they're going to take it off base. That they actually have no interest in it anymore. They're just seeing it just because it's been a tradition now, and Walking Dead is now officially going into its 10th season.
Almost everyone has stopped talking about it at this point.
Yeah,
basically, like all of the hype for it like comes back like in a very smaller and smaller each year doses on Facebook and shit.
Yeah,
because like a few years ago, like it would start up and I'll be like, oh God, here we go again. I have to listen to people talk about the fucking Walking Dead for 2 weeks now, and then like
I remember it was.
The last time I really heard a whole lot about it, though, was around the time of, Negan and, like, the shock and the royal fucking cliffhanger that still cracks me the hell up. It's like, I was sitting there watching it, like, just, like, standing in the living room. My sister was watching it because she likes the show. And I was like, all right, what are they going to do? Are they going to kill the same person? Like, it's like, how's this going to go down? And then the season finale cliffhangers it without showing you who he kills, and I was just like, wow,
yeah,
what fucking dicks.
Yeah,
I was like, what absolute douchebags.
Yeah. Look,
cliffhanger that.
Well, there's cliffhangers that that
and make people wait until the next fucking season.
Well, you think
I just told my sister, I was like, just do yourself a favor and go read the graphic novel instead.
Okay, there was actually a show that pulled that off in the 80s.
Yeah, I say graphic novel because the comics have since been put in these big ass fucking books that are basically
the
like
omnibus
a graphic novel.
Yeah,
so you don't have to buy every issue separately.
But you know what show pulled that off in the 80s? It actually started the trend of the cliffhanger season ender. Of course, it wasn't the end of the season.
I just think it's ridiculous to add a cliffhanger into something that wasn't even... It's based off of a format that doesn't fucking do that to people. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's the anticipation, because they're still going off that old model of the Who Shot JR thing. That's the whole thing with Dallas. Dallas was a show that pulled it off in the 80s because J.R. Ewing, the main character of the show, the main character in every episode, was the protagonist throughout the entire series. He, at the end of an episode, this is equivalent to, say, Rick Grimes. This would be equivalent to them at the end of the season, Rick walking out of a room, getting shot in the stomach, like someone, you don't see who it is, shot in the stomach. Rick hits the floor, recoils in pain, opens his eyes a little bit, and looks up at who shot him, and then camera goes black. And then credits roll. And that happened, and the premiere episode, the episode after, when we found out who shot him, was the most watched television episode ever at the time. MASH eventually came along and took that spot, but that was the most watched television episode of a series ever at the time. The guy who played J.R. Ewing, Larry Hagman, actually left the country and threatened to not come back and finish and film the next season until they upped his paycheck. He literally moved to England.
Wow.
And he was just like, I'm not coming back until y'all pay me. And he said he wanted to make sure that they filmed him everywhere he went. You know, he went to London Bridge. He went to Oxford and Cambridge University. He went to Buckingham Palace. And the Queen Mother asked who shot JR. Even the Queen Mother in England wanted to know who shot JR. And then not only that, you know how they also confused everybody to who shot JR? You know what level they went to make sure nobody knew? They literally filmed everybody in the show. Everybody, like every character in the show, and even people who weren't in the show. Like a makeup woman or a line producer who'd never been on film before, come up and like stand opposite of the office where JR got shot and like pretend to shoot him. Like, take that and that, take that, you son of a bitch. And then they did that and put out all those little video things like as leaks so that everyone would believe that that's what happened. But turns out no, none of the people were the ones who shot him. And you see, when they do it now, it's almost insulting. Back then, it was a surprise, like no one expected it. Plus, that's Dallas. It's like bullshit melodrama. Whereas The Walking Dead is something that emotionally people did tie themselves to a lot. It wasn't a bullshit melodrama. It actually had very dramatic shit in it that you felt for, especially.
If I was personally a fan of the show, I would have been pretty fucking insulted by that. I would have been like, "Fuck this entire show." I don't even care anymore.
The one episode that made me just almost cry was when Herschel bit the dust. Yeah. Because Herschel was one of my he reminded me a lot of my granddad, the one who passed away before all this. But yeah. God.
I'm pretty sure.
What?
Yeah,
What?
I can't remember. Herschel's like one of those that I can't actually remember if they did the same thing with him in the show as they did in the comics or not.
Oh, in the comics, no. Comics, I think he died a lot earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In the show, well, I mean, dude.
There was almost every character that dies in the show dies a lot earlier in the comics than they did in the
Except
show.
for Shane.
No, Shane dies way earlier in the comics than he does in the show.
Shane dies way early in the comics than in the show.
That's what I was saying. Almost every character that dies in the show dies way earlier in the comics than they did in the show.
Well,
because Shane was the first one I noticed, because Shane is an absolute piece of shit
Andrea.
and one of the most dislikable characters I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they let him live way too long in the show to the point where I was like, I don't even care about the show at all.
Well, and then there's Andrea.
What about her?
She died at the end of season 3, and she's still alive in the comics.
No, I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up too. Just like killing off characters that.
Well, she eventually became like Rick's significant other after the death of Lori. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. That's kind of dumb that they did that.
What, in the comics?
That they
they killed her. Killed
off a character in the show that's still there in the comics.
Well,
like, I mean, it's just like,
also,
I mean, with
Sophia,
Shane too. Like, I mean, I've probably said this before on reactions, but Shane's death is so much more satisfying in the comics than it is in the show.
Well, it's because it's Carl who kills him.
Yeah, and that's just a lot better. Like, he essentially is trying to kill Rick, and Rick has already taught Carl how to shoot by that point, which they also delayed in the show as well. And since he had just taught Carl how to shoot, and, you know, he explained to him, you know, you don't ever shoot anyone unless someone's in danger, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, like,
don't shoot unless...
Yeah, he sees that Shane is trying to kill his dad, so he just straight up blows Shane away. And it's just a badass scene. It's just like, you know, it's like, you go, Carl, and, like, you know.
Good job, kid.
It's like, I know that was traumatizing, but you're living in a traumatizing post-apocalyptic world now, so
yeah, and
good on you for blowing that asshole away.
Speaking of a traumatizing world, The Witcher. I mean, people who complain about this being too violent, yet again back on that, grow up, because this is a fantasy world. Fantasy worlds aren't supposed to be, oh, look at all the fairykin running around, they're so happy and frolicking, and the humans and everybody get along. Guess what? Just like in the real world, sometimes people don't get along. And sometimes people fight, and sometimes people die.
Sometimes horrible shit happens to people.
Exactly. And, you know, The Walking Dead, to me, actually, you know, they did one thing right. Sometimes the good guy doesn't get there in time. Sometimes... actually, I remember talking to some people about that. And it's just like, I just don't understand why they had to do that. It's like, because guess what? In the real world, sometimes the police officer doesn't get there in time. Sometimes... Hell, a lot of the times, people don't get there in time, and bad things happen to good people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a real-world thing, and it happens way more often than you think, way more often than people want to think about.
Better storytelling than just the, you know, good always prevails over evil in every
situation. It is, because evil does win sometimes, a lot of times. And to reflect that and prepare people for it, so that they can better prepare themselves against evil people in the real world, to me, that's something that the world needs. It's good to have, you know, a feel-good story, you know, oh, don't worry, she'll pull through in the end, the whole thing with the, you know, I mean, hell, I wanted to believe in fairy tales when my granddad came down with cancer, but guess what? He died. Because that form of cancer is very aggressive, and within 2 weeks of him finding out, he was gone. Shit happens, guys. And the unfortunate thing is, you just got to deal with it. Because the world's not going to stop and give a shit. The world never stops and gives a shit. I mean, sometimes you get on people on Facebook, you know, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers are all good. I mean, if that's all you can send, all right. But the world isn't nice all the time, guys. That's something that people have to accept, no matter what.
You know, the one thing I'm going to miss about the games, probably, that I don't think they did in the games that I love about this show?
What's that?
Him being like, fuck, all the time. Fuck. I don't think I've heard him say fuck in the games before.
No.
But it's hilarious every time he says it.
Well, it's because I think he realizes that he's fucked up. He's just like, fuck. just
his delivery of that curse word is on point.
Well, yeah. It's cathartic almost. Because I think at first, he's not one who wants to believe in destiny, although destiny is literally around him at all times. And he's literally just like, whenever he realizes, oh, that's right, destiny actually is a thing, even though I don't want it to be. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just like, too, like, where it broke out of the chains, and he's like, fuck.
Fuck. Yeah. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you have enjoyed this. This was The Witcher, Season 1, Episode 4 of Banquets, Bastards, and Burials. So, yeah, this was a good episode. This is a great episode. A lot of potential possibilities with everything that I'm seeing in this, and also we're getting a little bit clearer on the timeline.
If the season stays this good, then like this is going to be definitely one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, if it keeps this up.
1 and 2 are all right. 3 and 4 have been bitching.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Absolutely. I hope so. From what a lot of people say, it does. This kind of quality is maintained throughout. So, we're going to have to see it.
Looking forward to more of it.
So, until then, everybody, if you are watching this on YouTube and want to see the full version of this, link to our Patreon is right down below where you can sign up for that. And if also you want to see more from us as well, we have a Discord, which has over 3,000 members. Pretty awesome, if I say so myself. Feel free to check that out. And, yeah, I guess until next time.
Toss a like to your tuber, oh website of plenty.
Oh, website of plenty. Good night, everybody.